Hello, my name is Rivas Mayoki, a sci-fi author and a philosopher. I wanted to talk about the difference between communism and fascism, or Nazism. Uh, and I was recently studying narcissistic traits quite a lot, and it just came to me that the difference between the communism and fascism is like the difference between a wounded narcissistic person and a malignant narcissist. uh, Communism is a wounded narcissist, and the Nazism is a malignant narcissist. So communism is preoccupied with controlling their citizens to the smallest of details as much as they can, and regulating their daily lives, and insisting upon control. They are controlling their citizen to the smallest of details. And in a system like communism, you have limited access to goods, and you are expected to do things for the greater good. And the property is communal, so you don't own anything, and you do whatever the government tells you to, because you don't have a way to oppose it, because there's no other party, there's just one party, and that's it. And much like a malignant Nazism is quite hostile towards strangers, towards everyone. The malignant narcissist person wants to control everyone. He wants to be first everywhere, and loud, and everything that malignant narcissist person thinks is the truth. So Nazism is, as we saw in the worst case scenario in Second World War, in which Croatia too was a part of, on the Nazi side, uh, is that they want to dominate others, and that it's expansive. And the promise that Nazis gave their citizen is that you are better than everyone else. We will make them comply because we are superior. And that's in a lighter version, a political systems today, but in much lighter versions. Like the right promises their citizens that they are better, and that the border would be made for them to be protected from strangers, from outers, from someone that is not them. And the leftist is like, still, we are all the same, and we all should be the same. And that goes with the lightest version is that we all should have the same rights. And quite like that philosophy. I always like that philosophy. But when implementing, you can get I could say you can get carried away and just like implement too much of restrictions. And I think that this pandemic, in the way it's handled, it's not a political of right or left, or are we Nazis or communists here. And that is what confuses people. They don't know, should they fight back, or should they agree with it, because there is an outer enemy, a virus, and there are all sorts of restrictions upon it. But there is also the maximal control on the mundane things of a private citizens. So it's a confusing times, because you have COVID passes and mandate vaccines that could be related to Nacism very easily. You can see even the Australian camp for COVID isolation. People are calling a concentration camp. Even that's a bit harsh. Concentration camps were much worse, and we don't want to repeat that. Please don't repeat that. It's terrible. And But the appeal, the ideology that is sold is like, you must be empathetic. We all must sacrifice for the greater good of the collective, because the collective is now more important than the individual, and we can't be swayed by few individuals that are far in between, who are complaining without any reason. And that's just pure communistic propaganda. Because when you divide people in their homes, we can't even measure how many people are dissatisfied, and nobody is tracking the amount of depressions. Did suicides rise? I would expect them to. I hope they didn't. uh, I know I heard that the domestic violence is on the rise, and the mere lack of exercising must be ruining many health conditions by now. And if you stretch out some measurements for too long, people get, there are things that happen, and I think don't think it will go to the better. That's my estimation. So anyway, people are protesting all around the world, and it's nice to see on YouTube just footages of it. It's encouraging, but it's not encouraging to realize that fake media is a real thing. That the way that protests are not even covered, they are just mentioned in some anti-vaxxers rallying and not respecting restrictions. That many people are not anti-vaxxers. Probably most of them are vaccinated. They are just don't want for vaccination to be mandatory and for them to be obligated to get a shot every 6 months, and for COVID passes to stop, because that is really terrible. I mean, it's a way to control your citizen to the T, to everything they do. It's a bad idea, because freedom of movement is a cornerstone of human happiness. If you take away human happiness, you are taking away their health, because health is always connected to happiness. And if we are doing all this for health, in the name of health, I think your excuse is getting thin, and just stop where you will winning. Be the hero. Because I think that the main problem with this pandemic is the complex of a hero. We grew up on fiction, and I think that the rise of superhero movies just infected people with this notion of Tony Stark, that you can put an armor around the world and make it safe. Please, people would still be inside of that armor and wars would continue. You would achieve nothing with it. So, when people are trying to be heroes, they will be overzealous, and most crimes in Nazi countries were made by ordinary people, not even following orders, but being overzealous in trying to prove themselves. And what we're seeing now with policemen trying to arrest people for walking without masks, for sitting on a beach, practically just two people alone in the dark. It's too far. It's too overzealous, and hopefully people are overreacting when they say that doctors are not reporting side effects. But I heard people that I know that they say that their doctors didn't report side effects they had on the medicine they received. And people, when they get overzealous, they do things that they think they're right, but oftentimes they're not. They're really not. So please, when you rejoice if someone that isn't vaccinated may be dying, stop and reflect on what you are doing, and how much good are you doing to the world. Just say. Stay safe. Try to take a walk. Don't be like me to endanger your circulation by sitting too much. And stay happy, because happiness is the cornerstone of health. And I wish you all great immunities, good health, and just optimism. See you around. Bye.